They consume more cannabis per capita than alcohol.
It's been less than 10 years that individuals or companies can actually harness that energy and store it and then sell it.
We make robotic pets for people who cannot have pets.
We focus on acquisitions in the oil and gas sector.
The UBS report showed that alternatives, what used to be a 60-40 split, traditional equities and bonds, is now 40% alts and 60% traditional asset management. And that alternative side is really growing because that's where a lot of people are seeing yield or looking for yield or finding alpha. We have a great panel here today. Dan, I was actually going to kind of start with you because of, even though you might have more of a traditional asset management side, your hedging technologies or your algos kind of help manage from a traditional side downside risk. Would you say that's right? Or yeah, and so maybe we could start by, if you don't mind starting, and then we can kind of go down the list and we can talk, maybe a quick introduction for 2 minutes, and then we'll go into kind of panel questions, if that makes sense. Great. Yeah, you can start, Gideon, that's fine, or Dan, either way, let's start, yeah.
So a little something different that you don't know already about me is something that you can probably all relate to as it relates to growing up and in your work, looking for pain points, opportunities, and trends. And so a little bit about my background. When I was just 13, both of my brothers had applied for Stanford and didn't get in. It was a pain point. And so I made a determined goal that I was going to do whatever it took to then get into Stanford. And when I first graduated in '87 and entered into the investment world, the month before the crash of '87, there was some serious pain points there. And then by the time we got to the 2001 tech bubble crash, which is the worst crash since the Great Depression, there was enough pain that then determined at that point that we were going to come up with the opposite, that we were going to be dedicated to coming up with advance and protect strategies that could then provide peace of mind and confidence and sense of security instead of the opposite of what we saw in '87 and 2001, people committing suicide over their losses. And then again in the late 2010s, when we were looking at our overall portfolios nationwide, we found that the one firm that was providing the research that allowed us to have the greatest returns of any of our portfolios he was 74 years of age, and he was spending 16 hours a day, 6 to 7 days a week, getting the information into his spreadsheets. Incredibly inefficient. So pain points, certainly it was there, but there was opportunities because of inefficiencies there. And so that then allowed us to then decide to buy the global leader in the tactical asset allocation area.
Nice, great. And on the cannabis side, do you want to talk quickly? You know, yesterday's presentation I thought was fantastic. It made such a compelling case for cannabis as an alternative investment. Maybe give a quick introduction, and we can kind of we'll go from there as well.
Yeah, so my name is Todd Sullivan. I'm the president of Cannapreneur Partners. We are a Massachusetts-based cannabis holding company, but at our heart, we're value investors. We've made a series of acquisitions over the last 2 years at what we believe is the market lows in cannabis, probably for the rest of eternity. That's going to go up from here, and happy to go into why later.
Did you say, forgive me, I thought I heard this, and I think it's an amazing stat that among Gen Z and before, it's basically they use cannabis more than cannabis consumption exceeds alcohol consumption.
Yeah, Gen Z Millennials.
That's amazing.
That are the largest demographic in the U.S. right now. They consume more cannabis per capita than alcohol. There's a reason every alcohol company of any significance out there is getting into cannabis beverages and the cannabis industry, because the long-term demographics of this country are lower alcohol sales and significantly higher cannabis sales. So we're basically value investors at heart. We've made a series of acquisitions over the last 4 years, last 2 years, I'm sorry, that will grow our revenue from $3 million last year to $18 million this year, and there's more on the horizon. So on the investment side, I do believe that this is, people talk about generational lows, but there are significant federal policies being changed in December that are going to be a significant boost to the entire industry, not just my company, but the entire industry, and that they're very, very positive.
Tom, do you want to discuss your opportunity? Yeah.
I love following the cannabis part. I have kids recently from college, and it was always interesting to try to see my wife and I get our heads around the level of cannabis consumption and the fact they don't drink alcohol at all. Are you guys looking at psilocybin too?
So Massachusetts right now, the psilocybin's not legalized. Vermont it is, so it's state by state. But I do believe there's tremendous potential for psilocybin. I think that'll be pharmaceuticalized prior to cannabis, because you can dial in the effects on people much better than you can with cannabis.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I'm Tom Stevens. I'm CEO and co-founder of Tombot. We make robotic pets for people who cannot have pets. My background is I've been in the high-tech industry for about 30 years. My two Tombot co-founders and I built a prior startup into one of the world's largest litigation automation companies. We were successfully acquired. Unfortunately, that same year, my mother was diagnosed with Alzheimer's dementia. And of the many difficult decisions I had to make on her behalf, by far the worst was having to take away her dog for safety reasons. I looked around for substitutes for live animal companions, but she hated everything that I brought home. And I realized there was a very large gap in the market. That launched me on a multi-year research and education journey, which culminated in a master's degree from Stanford. I did not get in as an undergrad. And I learned through that experience that there are over 300 million seniors with dementia or pre-dementia mild cognitive impairment, and about half of the world's population that does not own live animals for reasons including health adversity, cost, burden of care, and living restrictions. And so we launched Tombot to be in service to those people. Our first robot to the market is what we believe to be the world's most realistic robotic puppy. It is designed to treat the behavioral and psychological symptoms of dementia, reducing the need for psychotropic medications. It will be the first to be both an FDA medical device and a remote safety and health monitoring platform.
Wow. How are you using an AI? Can you describe just quickly, are you approaching it from an AI standpoint as well? Yeah.
So AI is used as a tool for getting the robot to behave more realistically. Happy to dig into the details, but you can't really do this work without sophisticated software programming, algorithms, and AI is among the tools we employ.
All right. Hi. Do you want, please make an introduction, if you don't mind, Michael.
Yeah. Michael Tanner. I'm with Trevino Resources. We're a small family office and an asset management company based in the great state of Texas. We focus on acquisitions in the oil and gas sector. We've basically for the past, I would say, 20 years focused on just deploying the Trevino family capital. Recently, we've opened up our own asset management company to kind of invest our own assets alongside other institutional and retail investors. This will be the third year now we've had kind of opportunities open to both those type of people. It's been going really well. We're mainly focused on operated and non-operated assets in the kind of the North Texas area. Our current project right now is actually just about to go full cycle, which is super interesting, and just really excited to be here. I think, from an alternative investment standpoint, I think, oil and gas definitely, I think, gets overlooked in a lot of that stuff. I think there's, especially kind of where it sits within kind of the real estate space, the arbitrage we're seeing right now between kind of where rates are and how that doesn't necessarily affect oil and gas, but just happy to talk about it.
That's great. And Gideon, I'll have you clean up, I guess. Do you want to...
Yeah, sure. I'd be happy to introduce myself. I'm Gideon Pfeffer. I'm with Charge Capital Partners. It's a venture that I'm a partner in. I've got a real estate background. I've got a large portfolio of multifamily communities across the country, and I'm super excited about the energy space. the current energy demand is like 150% of the actual capacity of our grid across the United States, and it's been less than 10 years that individuals or companies can actually harness that energy and store it and then sell it back as a profit. So Charge Capital Partners basically buys energy when it's cheap, off-peak, and sells it right back, when it's more expensive. So it's pretty niche, but it's a part of a sector that's has an incredible amount of potential over the coming decades.
Is that through battery storage, or how do you?
Yeah, battery energy storage systems, that's correct.
Great. And that's an area where family offices, especially the larger family offices, investing more on the energy infrastructure side. Are you seeing that? Is that?
Yeah, so larger institutional capital and family offices are racing to be able to control as much storage capacity as they can. One of the problems that they're facing is that based on the size of the capacity that they want to create or the interconnection that it takes, often it takes 2 to 4 to 5 years to get these battery storage systems up and running. Back in my early real estate days, I would buy hundreds of single-family homes at a time and aggregate them together and sell them to institutional capital that wanted packages of homes, and that's basically what Charge Capital is doing now. We are able to connect the grid within 3 to 6 months in smaller capacity storage systems, and then we aggregate them together and sell them to those large capital groups that want larger capacity.
Great, thank you.